Wing Kingz. Listen, think, act, repeat.
What is going down? Happy Saturday. It is time for another live stream and podcast from your boys and your girls over at the Left Wing Kingz. Today we're going to be discussing Trump and the consequences of a conviction, the black folks on the riverboat and if they did anything wrong, and we'll ask why some people feel it's okay to be racist nowadays. Now, I want to thank all of our listeners out there on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Amazon, all of that. And I also want to thank everybody who's joining us on the live stream today. If you are live streaming with us, please feel free to go ahead and leave a comment. We'll go ahead and post it, share it on the screen, and respond to you. Now, I am your HMIC, your head moderator in charge, Malik, and I'm joined today by my queen, Walanda.
What?
And my main man, Ace.
What up?
All right, let's go ahead and get it cracking. We'll get started with the Trump and all of the Trumpalicious people out there. So, Donald Trump, he's currently facing 4 sets of criminal charges. So I'm going to go down the line here. So he's got the New York for allegedly falsifying business records, the Stormy Daniels type thing. He's got Florida for the alleged willful retention of classified documents. He's got DC for allegedly attempting to overturn the election on January 6th. And last but not least, Georgia for allegedly interfering in the 2020 election. Now, the latest indictment in Georgia basically pulled in everybody that ever kissed his ass and charged him with something.
RICO charges.
Yeah, they got them all together.
Organized
They just threw them in their organization. Okay. Now, before we jump into the Trump conviction, I'd like to go ahead and let Walanda kind of break down indictment 101, basically.
Okay, so we'll first just start off with the definition. So indictment, a formal written accusation or charge issued by a grand jury stating that a person has committed a crime and should stand trial. So that's first off, that's definition. Then what happens as far as the process, you have your grand jury. So what does that look like? First step, you have an impanelment. So basically a group of citizens are selected. It's about 16 to 23 from actually the community itself. Okay. So then you have a presentment or indictment is what it's called. And so you're presented by various evidence from the prosecutor. It has to be probable cause, has to be established. They review the information at that point. The evidence includes like witnesses, all type of documentation, even additional information. Then just to know that it is in secrecy. So basically you should know who your grand jury is. The proceedings, complete secret, not disclosed to the public. After that, your grand jury will vote based upon all the information that's been presented to them. And then at that time, they say whether the person's going to be formally indicted or charged. Okay. So what happens with this, though, it's a majority, can be a higher threshold, depends on if it's a federal. The threshold is actually higher for federal crimes on there. And then just to disclose what probable cause means, decisions based on whether there's enough information, right? To charge an individual or to say that somebody's responsible for a crime. So that's where we're at.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is it's not just like somebody could just go in there and just say, "Oh, we don't like them, so we're gonna indict them on some stuff." There's a whole
his ass is in trouble.
Yeah, it's a whole like rigmarole that you got to go through. There's evidence. There's all types of stuff that's got to happen, right? And in Georgia particularly. I mean, Ace, this is a big one.
Yeah. You can't just run up and say, I'm going to charge somebody with a RICO charge. You got to have a lot of evidence to prove that. And then, like you said, they summoned the grand jury, all of that good stuff. Yeah, no, this ain't no walk in the park or just an accusation. That means they got a lot of evidence on this guy, on what's happening. So, yeah, that fourth indictment, like you said, is very serious. Now, I mean, I always said, and I keep saying that he did that Stormy Daniels shit. Like, we can just look at him and tell he did that. You know what I'm saying?
No need for a trial.
We don't need no trial. We don't need no grand jury. He fits the MO for that one. Older man with a toupee.
And a lot of money.
With a lot of money, sprays orange. He's buying porn stars, though. We already know that. Like, I'm kind of mad they charged his ass.
Like there should be like 50 other people charged. If they gonna charge
a whole bunch of people gonna go down for that one. Though. I hate to say it, but that RICO charge stuff, that's serious, man. It's a lot of people. And I don't, and just to throw this in, on my way over, I was listening to it. and this might be a little off topic. This goes more with January the 6th. That Cheeseboro guy. I don't know if y'all saw that.
Yeah.
Just standing up in the audience. I mean, he's right there in the rides that directly
On
now
the steps.
Directly now connect the White House to the January 6th thing. So I mean, it's crazy. They had something called the Gathering yesterday in Atlanta where they were all the Republicans were meeting, and Trump wasn't invited. Now they say, nah, man, they starting to turn the corner because if he starts losing some of the the base Republicans, it's over for him, man. Because I already think he lost the independent vote. And we know the Democrats ain't gonna vote for him.
Nah.
But I think they're starting to peel off the base on him now with all these indictments because they know it's serious.
Yeah.
You know that, I don't know how he's gonna get out of these, man. So
the thing that kind of, from what you just said, the thing I want to touch on is they are still afraid, most Republicans that are candidates for the nomination. They're still very afraid of saying anything. They really tiptoe around saying anything bad about Trump still today, even with 4 indictments.
It's because that base, man, is so like for instance, they're threatening the federal judge.
Oh yeah.
They're threatening the jury. It's just a volatile base or people in that base that are just, and people don't want that. They don't want to say the wrong thing and have their family threatened and people calling, talking about they're going to kill them. So they're keeping their mouth shut. But I think that somebody's got to be brave. I mean, you can't run this country on somebody who's able to go out and just, he's going to put people's name out and then change their life. I mean, that's
right.
That's what happened to Ruby Freeman.
Yeah.
And that's why they in the RICO charge there. She's just a election worker. And he goes and mentions her names and all these people are coming to her house and threaten her. It's crazy.
Yeah. And even with that being the case where people are being afraid to say anything, we now are seeing action being taken by law enforcement where people who were threatening others are now being sought out. They're being arrested. The one that threatened, I think the judge in the Georgia case, they're investigating and going after individuals for that. They arrested a guy for that. So there is a lot of things happening on the other side of the fence where maybe some of these Republican candidates will feel more comfortable saying something about their opponent instead of just walking around the conversation.
Yeah, this country ain't gonna get better until people start speaking up on things that are just wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? Got nothing to do with where you lay politically. You spend time in this country. I don't care if you're Democratic or Republican, Independent or whatever. If it was just wrong, it was just wrong.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. You can't do what he's doing, man. You just can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
We let that fly, then where are we at as a country?
Exactly.
So what are you guys' thoughts on the Georgia indictment?
Well, on the Georgia, the racketeering maximum charge is, I think, starting at 20 years. So just that doesn't include his 45-page indictments and all other kind of stuff. So he has just one little charge on there for 20-year sentences. His fraud is up to 5 years. I mean, he just has counts on counts on counts. So my concern is that's what we have to focus on. Like, what did you do? What is what's going to be the sentence for it on there? Because he has so many. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to. I'd be afraid if I was him because I was reading about how many counts he has. I was like, so this one charge carries 20 years and you got 48 others that were not even going into play. So him
91 counts.
Right.
Yeah.
So him avoiding any type of should be prison sentence. I just don't see how that's likely. Not with the evidence.
So that goes to the question that our main question today is like, so what happens next? Let's say he's convicted. Like, what happens? Like, he's got a bunch of different charges out there against him that have several different years or fines or whatever the case may be. As a president, there are some things that you get, right? Some benefits of being a president. Are those things going to be revoked? Some people are out there talking about taking his Supreme Court justice appointments away from people. Like there's all type of things. So what are your thoughts on what happens next if he's convicted of any, let's just say any of them, doesn't matter which one? What do you think will happen?
Well, he's not going to D block. We know that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know that.
I don't think he's going to D block. I mean, I think the thing is he's got like because of what he's done, he's still an ex-president. You know, ex-presidents come with protection, and you know, how you gonna throw him in, you throw him into prison with a whole bunch of criminals. That's all type of extortion, all kinds of stuff going on. And plus, he has that detail I want to say for life. I mean, regardless on the chapter of history that he's been in our lives, he's still a chapter of history. And the country can't just
he's writing his chapter.
Yeah.
Regardless
but
of
you
how
can't,
it's written.
as much as we like to, you can't just, throw him up in Leavenworth and be like, all right, he's he's good.
So let me ask you, the rules change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should they change if he's convicted? Should they be revoked? I hear what you're saying about today, a president gets all of these things, but this is unprecedented. We've never had a president who went through this to have their let's call them presidential benefits, whatever you want to call them, revoked. Is this a case where, and I'm not saying that I don't think that the judge and the jury need to decide that, because
it's not their place.
It's not their place, right? They're supposed to just sentence this guy. He gets 20 years. After that, it's up to someone else. I don't know, Congress to change, maybe revoke those things. I don't know. Like it's possible, right? I mean, it's not like he has to have it. Isn't it possible that things could change?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the sake of the country, they'd either come up with some kind of way to exile him that would make sense, or they would have him on like a serious house arrest.
So when you say exile, you mean like send them to another country? Like, do we get to pick the country? Like Bolivia, like send them somewhere bad where you got to live in Guatemala in the jungle. You can't like get yourself, because he got money. He's got connections. Like, I
think exile. The only time I heard that was on Game of Thrones. Like, I don't think they exiled nobody since sword.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I'm kind of like,
afraid of dragons and shit like that.
I don't know if exile is really on the table. Maybe it is. Like you said, things change. Like I just said, things can change.
But like, they got like 3 Mile Island, which I'm just thinking, like, they got islands out there that ain't got nothing on it. You know what I'm saying? And when I mean exile, like they can put them out there and be like, you can't leave this island for 20 years or whatever.
Okay,
and set it up or whatever. I don't think they like, exile him and this fool get to go to Dubai. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm
kicking
worried
it
about that. Yeah,
or worse than that, he just goes to Moscow and just starts dropping secrets all over the place. I think it's something controlled the way he's imprisoned, but it's not like he's going to D block and he got to worry about Tyrone raping him and shit like that. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be like something special where he's set up. It's still going to be luxurious.
Like, these are your new presidential benefits.
Yeah, they're going to be flying. They're going to be flying stuff into him. You know what I'm saying? His Secret Service will really be his prison guards now. You know what I'm saying? So,
but we can't make it pretty. I know logistics and security and all the politics around, but all these charges and indictments and a conspiracy, and some of them are even against defrauding the United States. You defrauded the United States. You don't get happy land when you go to jail.
Yeah,
right?
But he's got money and prestige. And unfortunately, that goes a long way in the justice system. I hate to say it.
Well, that's what we need to change, because to me, the justice system wouldn't be equitable and fair to all of us if it's, he was the president and he has money. That you committed a crime.
Well, Trump's
and
doing what
crimes
he's
have
doing.
Consequences.
Yeah, Trump's doing what he's doing because he knows it ain't fair. You know what I'm saying? He knows the system ain't fair. He knows he knows he got money. He can play the delay game. Now he done messed up to where he can't do that now.
Right.
You know. But he's been doing this for his whole life. He got suits from the 80s. He ain't still settled. He just been delaying. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it ain't fair. It ain't right. But he kind of got the country on a barrel. And I say that because at the end of the day, we still can't just like let somebody take him off and go do something with him because we mad at him. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine Iranians grab Trump or something like that?
So I understand all of that. My thing is this, as far as like prison, I don't think that prison is off the table. I think that he's a citizen, and every citizen can be imprisoned if they break the law. And if there are certain consequences that are written out there, billionaires have gone to jail.
Oh yeah.
There's been all types of people. There have been politicians who've gone to jail before, not presidents. Police officers, they go to jail. Like there's a lot of people out there who like, hey, if you put them with all these other people, they're gonna get their ass raped. You're gonna get your ass raped. Sorry, Mr. Policeman. We know they're gonna try to kill you, Mr. Policeman. We're gonna put and in certain cases, they put protective measures around these individuals. Like to your point, exile. Exile could be solitary confinement. They're still in the prison. They just in solitary. Now, will there be opportunity for people to get at him if he's in a prison? Probably. Like if he gets on the yard and they let somebody, like a guard lets him in. Like we've seen corruption in prison systems before, where guards will let a criminal get in there with somebody else that shouldn't, and they hurt them or they stab them or whatever. But I don't think it's off the table. I think that he could go to jail and he could be in solitary, and that would absolve the CIA from having to have a man with him at all times. If he's in solitary, what's the need for CIA to be there? Right. I mean, my opinion, I think that it's a possibility, but once again, I don't think that it's the responsibility. I think it's after, and I think we might be jumping the gun. So here's where I'm going with that. We don't know if he's gonna get convicted.
True.
In these cases, it has to be a unanimous decision by the jury.
Yeah, that's
I think we might be jumping the gun a little bit. I think this reminds me a lot about 2016 when he was running and he was a candidate, and everybody, he's not going to get the nomination. He's Trump. He got it. He's never going to beat Hillary. He beat her. Right? Yeah. We were all jumping the gun and saying what was going to happen, and it didn't. And I'm afraid all it takes is one Trump lover.
That's it.
It just takes one Trump lover on the jury for it to be him not to be found guilty, or to even to have someone on to have a mistrial or whatever, right? Even to have one or two people to start convincing other people, and then they find him not guilty.
Yeah.
Rather than it being no decision, a mistrial, right? So let's not jump the gun. Dude could get off.
Yeah, I don't believe he's 100% out of the waterway. He's gonna get convicted. I'm with you. I agree with that. But I think we were talking the what if,
right?
What if he's convicted?
Right, correct.
And I hear you on the solitary confinement. Going back to what you were saying, but my thing is his name is too big, not only in the country but in the world. Where if we do put him in prison, all eyes are going to be on us. And as a country, we've always wanted to perceive ourselves as fair and blah, blah, blah. So I think that...
So wouldn't fair be putting him in jail?
Yeah, fair would be a lot of things. Fair would have been impeaching him. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that would have been fair. So what if he is convicted? Then what do we do? I think they do change the rules. I mean, that's just the way I'm laying with it.
Yeah.
They figure out a way to do it. If it's just for national security or just the way we look in the world, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's the only thing. And I think that's the only reason he does what he does, because he knows that, like, what are they going to do?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And they know the world state. Everybody's looking. Yeah. Everybody's looking at the United States. United States used to be number one. Everyone to be United States. And now we look crazy. Like we have possibly put somebody into power who's a criminal. I mean, that's where we're at. Like our president could be possibly a criminal. And so I think they are concerned about how it looks to other countries. Do we look weak?
Yeah.
Do we look vulnerable?
Yeah. Let's lay it on the line. Do we really think he's out of the running for the election? We still don't know that yet.
Nope.
Like
he's still in there.
He might be president. Convicted
serving
president.
From a jail cell or from an island somewhere.
And we don't know. So we just it's crazy that Trump came in and just threw this country on the back like it
on
is.
His head. Like, so Stacy online. What's up, Stacy? Stacy says on a state RICO, if he's found guilty, he cannot get probation on all of his federal cases. Correct. If he's found guilty, she says he can get probation. I don't know if that's what she meant to say. Charging so many in a RICO is about turning them against each other. There is no probation in a state RICO for anyone found guilty.
Right. That is correct.
And then just to follow that up, she says, I think he believes he will be found guilty. That's why he's asking to have his trial moved from the state of Georgia to federal court in D.C. So there's still an option for probation in D.C.
Because they all have different laws, Stacey. And that's true. Yeah, in Georgia there is no do not pass go. But that's what all jurors also though don't they all need to be convinced. So that's probably why the reason is.
Yeah, it's crazy. One thing I think we leave out is, what's up with Kanye West damn assistant? How the hell she get tied up with this?
I have no idea, man.
What black people doing, man?
Hey, I don't know, bro. All you got to do is and it's sad because it's kind of like, to me, when I think about that, I think about that dude that in the Mar-a-Lago case with the documents.
Who moved
Oh
in?
yeah.
Yeah, who just doing his
Mhm.
job, man. He like, yeah, this man helped me. I started off here as a valet, and now I'm in charge of all these other people. I'm gonna be loyal to him, and I'm just gonna move this stuff for him, not thinking that he would end up in this mess. And I think the same thing happened to the Kanye's assistant. I think Kanye asked her to do something, probably didn't send it in a text though. He's like, you ain't gonna catch me out there. He he been on social media. He's like, look, can you do this real quick? And she probably did something that she was asked to do by either Trump or Kanye, and now she's in the mix, which is sad that these little people get taken down. But it's all like Stacey said. It's a means to an end. Like, look, you're a little guy. I know Trump, Kanye might pay your legal fees, but you're going to jail, buddy. So you want to flip or you want to sit in a cell? It's up to you. And I think that it's a means to an end for them. I think that's why they charging people like that do menial little things
to force them
to get more evidence, to get them on their side.
I mean, but she was kind of wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, I'm not saying she was right.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying she just, she went to first they sent a gentleman over there to talk to Ruby Freeman, and asked Ruby Freeman to basically say she made a mistake or messed up at her job, being an election official. She didn't work, so they sent a brother over there, Harrison Floyd. Couldn't convince her. Then I don't know, somehow she got to the police station or whatever. Then there comes in the assistant for Kanye West. Kanye felt when he just saw that on the news, like Kanye West assistant, everybody just turned around, what the hell? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you don't go nowhere near whatever's going on down there, man. You don't want your name tied up with that. And Kanye ain't that damn crazy. I know he don't want that.
Oh, nah, he don't want none of that business.
Yeah, so
I think it's like you said, she knew she was wrong. I think the dude in Mar-a-Lago knew he was wrong. Yeah. I mean, asking somebody, hey, delete these videotapes. Come on, bro. You know you ain't supposed to ask nobody to delete evidence. I mean, they know they wrong. They have a I don't know, loyalty towards whoever that is that they work for. And unfortunately, that loyalty is gonna get them in trouble.
Let me tell you what my loyalty would end with Trump. When he didn't bring me no lawyer. He got a lawyer and I ain't got no lawyer at court. Loyalty's done. I'm singing right there, bro. Like, you bought a lawyer and didn't bring me no lawyer. And I moved these boxes that say top secret on it. Like, I probably didn't know exactly was that wrong. I can get caught up in the game, but now I'm up in court. Nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? That loyalty is gone.
Yeah, he might not have known like moving the boxes was a big deal. Maybe he didn't. I mean, his boss got these boxes all over the house. All over the mansion, the compound, whatever you want to call it.
Restroom.
Yeah, but he got them everywhere. So he probably didn't even think that was a big deal. He didn't think he was big. But once you ask somebody to delete evidence off a video,
it's a totally different.
I think you're doing something wrong at that point. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, but then once again, you got a track record of like not paying lawyers, not helping the people who helped you if they, like what's his Michael
Cohen?
Michael
Cohen.
Michael Cohen.
Straight did prison time.
Giuliani
lost his life.
He about to.
He didn't pay that man for the work he did.
Didn't pay Giuliani.
And now Giuliani come crawling back to him saying, can you pay my legal fees for this? I'm in this mix with you. He told him no.
Yeah, that's
but we supposed to believe for total strangers that Donald Trump is here to support us as people. But he doesn't even support the people close to him that he has a relationship with.
They did his dirt. They did his dirt.
Come on, people. Y'all got in them
streets. Like Giuliani got in them streets. You know what I'm saying? He completely ruined his name.
Yeah.
And you're right. He didn't get paid, man. And he don't pay nobody. So I don't know and understand like how people still falling for that one. Like, dude, he ain't paid nobody.
Nobody.
You know what I'm saying?
He does not even take care of his own obligations, his own personal obligations, but he's supposed to take care of me and you.
Yeah, man.
The country and thinking about us before himself.
No, he ain't never gonna do that. There's a lot of little people,
right?
A lot of little people, man, that are gonna do some serious prison time, and he gonna still be free.
So we talked a little bit about the rules going to change. Like, what are the political consequences of him getting convicted? Like you said, I think you talked about like, hey, we might have some rule changes as far as like what can and can't happen to the president if he gets found guilty of something. I think we talked a little bit about like, can't can't think now. We had a few different conversations about the political consequences. Like he could be the president in jail. You talked about that. What are some of those things on y'all's mind as far as like, hey, this could really happen if he's convicted?
Well, I'm just hoping that Congress is already having conversations because they should be. Like, what happens if? What is what the what if? Yes, the proactive stance on that. And personally, like again, I can't even wrap my hand around the fact that somebody could be the president of the United States, but also be a criminal all in the same sentence. Like, we got to do something. We got to do better. And then what are the consequences of that? What does that look like? Does he still get to hold the fact that he was? I mean, I know we can't change history like everybody else wants to on that, but do we hold him in the same, as like Barack Obama and your Clintons and, your Reagans? I don't understand. Like, does he still get far as CIA following him around? Does this still have to be something in place? Or is that something that Congress gets involved in? I don't know. That information, I tried to search it and I didn't find anything out. So I'm sure I'll be thinking they're having these conversations though.
Yeah, he's definitely in the gray. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With the Constitution. I think the best thing is we can change the Constitution to where if something else comes up like this, it's written in black and white what would happen. I think that we're probably writing legislation right there on that. I think the biggest fear that people probably ain't talking about is he becomes a political martyr. Like we convict him, we punish him, and now he's still got a soapbox, and now he's rallying these people to really be negative. Like, hey,
because they think it's stolen. Yeah, because there's some people out there still thinks the election was stolen. Like that's how they truly feel that he was wronged for whatever reason. All the information we have out there. So how do you get to those people? Because those people still are voting.
I don't think you can get to them. I don't think you can change them. It's just there. It's funny. I was having a conversation with my mom about a coworker of mine, and I said, that's their belief. No matter what, I don't even, but that's how they believe, and they don't believe anything else. That's their belief. To the point we were talking, and we're just having general conversation, and then it just turned left, and I was like, oh, I forgot. You one of them, you know what I'm saying? And it was just all conspiracy theories and things like that. And I just think, I'm not saying it's hopeful, but trying to be a little sympathetic. That's what they believe. That's a source of theirs. They believe that, and unfortunately, they're being manipulated out of that. So I don't know how that happens. But it's funny. You said, does he get the perks of the presidency? Trump might be the first president that's going to name a prison library after. You know what I'm saying? His presidential library is going to be in a prison. You know what I'm saying? That'd be messed up.
No.
What about like him being able to? Right now, there's nothing stopping him from being president. I mean, I don't think that most political offices, and anybody out there can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that a convicted criminal cannot hold a political office. I know he can be president and be a...
No, I don't. You're saying if he's committed with a federal crime that he can still run for presidency?
There's been someone in the past that has done that. A criminal ran for president from jail.
Yeah. 13th Amendment, you can't vote.
But you can't vote. So I don't understand how
crazy.
You can't vote,
but you can run for...
But you can run.
The presidency.
I don't think there's any...
I looked at... I don't know.
You don't have to believe me.
Yeah,
I
look up stuff. I just told you.
I believe you. I'm just saying.
I can imagine Sunday. I can imagine Sundays over here.
You're gonna look it up. You'll find it when you look it up.
I can imagine Sundays over here. You just can't. She don't take nothing on face value.
Bro, she be
Let me
looking up everything I say.
Okay.
Don't it picture like when your girl, like, you work in the field, like that's what you do.
You know what I'm
like,
saying?
I've been in furniture and I be telling like, you can't move that couch like that. But oh man, I don't know. All right, man, knock yourself out.
Break your back.
Yeah, go ahead and talk. I'm
gonna look at her. You have to do like in the 1800s that ran for president from the
But now can you?
There's no law against it now. They have not changed the Constitution to say anything that you can't.
So presidency.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. And so
fact check Jesus.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all good. I love her. I love her. So
I'm not gullible. See, that's all that means. I'm just saying.
So she don't believe both of us. We both told her.
It's all good, man. So would Trump be barred from holding? Should he be barred from holding office?
Yes.
If he's convicted.
Yes. He shouldn't be able to run for PTA president. Like they should just.
You stupid.
Yeah. Hey, make it like it's a There's a lot of things.
Yeah. Oh, well, you should have gasped when I said it. You shouldn't
Oh
have
my
to look it
goodness,
up first. So
We're gonna
You
have a
s-
pause for a moment.
You said it. You said
Of
it, and I
silence,
said it. You know what
so
I'm
he
saying?
don't get.
all that
trouble.
matters is that I said it. If you would have said it before I did, she
Look,
would have believed it.
I did. That's true. I question both of y'all. I'm just like, this is nuts to me. How can you be convicted of a crime and still found?
So
No.
basically, like I said, the question still stands. So obviously, we know what your thought. You say no, obviously, and you've already said
Constitution
no.
change.
Yeah.
Right. There would have to be a change to the Constitution for that
Well,
to
let's go.
happen. Yes.
Yes.
So in order for
You
that
know-
to happen, there would have to be some serious change, and we all know that that's not like it's not easy to amend the Constitution.
And it was
No.
Eugene versus Debs, just to let you know who did that, who campaigned from a prison cell. Okay. It's Eugene versus Debs. That's the court
Versus
case.
is his name.
So no, Eugene v. Debs. Sorry.
It was a
Eugene
court
v.
case.
Debs. It was a court case too.
Okay.
To see.
I'm like,
So,
what is his name? though? Is he
Yeah.
Eugene or is he?
I guess Eugene.
All right.
I'll have to find more information.
We know
That's
he
very
can.
intriguing.
You know he can run for president from the jail cell. We know.
Yeah.
Wow.
He can be president in jail. He can run for president from jail. He could.
You know,
Doesn't
they may
matter.
have that because they'll be thinking, who in the right mind would vote? But look at our country right now. Like
Well,
we could have.
there are a
like,
lot
it
of
wouldn't even
questions.
surprise me.
To your point, there are a lot of
That's
things that we're
nuts.
questioning now, and there were a lot of rules that we've had in place that were based on morals that just get blown out the water right now. We look at our
Yeah.
Supreme Court justices.
They
They're
don't
supposed
know
to have like ethics, a code of ethics
integrity.
and integrity. There's certain things they shouldn't be doing,
Mhm.
but they do.
Clarence
because-
Thomas getting lit on yachts, man.
You know what I'm
He's
saying?
just Blowing,
Just doing whatever
blowing cigar smoke,
because we
man, and
we
just-
thought, well, these are Supreme Court judges. They're
They have
not going to
morals.
do
They
that.
believe in integrity.
Nah, they
We
get-
should have had more stringent rules of what they can and cannot do, which there's a gray area out there that they're exploiting to be able to do the things that they want to do. Just like this. Like you would think, like you said, babe,
Uh-uh.
like nobody wants to vote for a criminal.
No.
Well, if he's in jail, I bet you he's going to get votes. He's going to get millions.
Well, yeah, a lot of people
Of
think
votes.
he's
because
being
they would say
persecuted.
they don't feel like
That's why.
he shouldn't be in jail.
Yeah, a lot of people think he's being persecuted. So that's why he says every indictment he gets more powerful.
It's just true.
Going to jail, he gets more powerful because it makes it legitimately look
He
like.
running out of money though.
Yeah, he sure is.
This cat gonna end up like
He sure is.
if it weren't for all of his political contributions and stuff, he wouldn't be able to carry the weight of all these charges against him.
Wow.
Well, you know what happens is he utilizes the platform of him being persecuted to raise more money.
Yep.
Hey man, I need your help, man. They're coming after me. You know.
Yeah.
So it's he's running out of money. He can't pay Giuliani. Shoot, I'd be
Yeah.
state's evidence right now if you couldn't
Exactly.
pay me, man. I'd
be like, well, we done. It's a wrap. I'm about to become America's mayor again.
yeah. That's about it.
But we know that Trump's got a lot of charges against him, man. But what we also know is none of the black people, except Chair Guy, on the Alabama riverboat got charged with anything. So the Alabama riverboat brawl has been highly publicized. It's been out there in the news and things like that. And what happened was there was a group of black individuals who were crew on the ship, black people who were traveling on the ship, black people that maybe there were some black people on the deck. I don't know. They got into the mix with some white individuals who were in a private vessel. Now they mixed it up. They had a big fight. We all saw what happened. But in the aftermath, there's been some accusations that, the black people, except the Chair Guy, didn't receive any type of charges. Nothing happened to them. You got like people saying, well, the co-captain shouldn't have moved the boat. And you got people saying, well, when the fight, they were already done. The fight was already over. And all of these black people followed the white people to their boat and blah, blah, blah. We've got all of these different accusations about how come nothing is happening to all of these black people except the Chair King. So did the black folks in the riverboat brawl do anything wrong? That's my question.
Yes.
I say yes too. You know me.
Yeah.
I don't believe violence with violence. So
Well, I
I
mean,
have a
and
couple of.
I can't say that I'm strongly convicted like Orlando over there,
I am.
but let's be real. Yes. I mean, if two people start fighting, there's no both of them are wrong. Now, who started it? Yeah, they're probably a little more wrong, but still. So the question is, yes. I mean, you got black dudes skip walking down that pier. You know, they ain't coming to be your friend.
You know what
what
the
I'm
skip
saying?
walk
You know what
means.
that skip walk means. You ever see somebody come with you a skip walk?
walk.
Brace yourself. You know what I'm saying? Be prepared to battle. That ain't never nothing good.
Yeah.
He ain't singing Skip to Malou.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's coming in for it. So you got that. Of course, chair guy. I mean, it's funny as hell, but you can't do that, bro. You can't WWE people, man. You can't just walk around slapping people with chairs, bro.
Bro, there was people on the last video that we did just honoring, like, and like saying the chair guy did nothing wrong and all kind of stuff.
Nah, you can't do that.
No,
bro.
and people don't understand what a fight means. So you got two individuals, they both, going at it. Okay, but as soon as one stops, y'all, and one walks away, and then somebody comes behind you or whatever the case may be from the side, that's an assault. So once we stop, that's it. The fight should have stopped, but like you said, if you're coming back in because, I got to get a couple of licks, that's actually an assault charge, which I'm very surprised that some of them didn't catch an assault because, again, you have two individuals fighting, but as soon as you try to walk away and remove yourself, then now you're looking at an assault charge. So just got to be careful with that.
So let's be careful when we say like two people fighting, because the beginning of that was all wrong about the white folks. The white folks were wrong. Like
that would have been assault.
Right. That right there, when they came up there and started beating that co-captain and all of that, they were wrong for that. And I will say this, in my opinion, if the black people would have got there before they stopped fighting him and all the black people would have jumped in then, I wouldn't have thought nothing wrong with what the black folks did. I would have been 100% for them. My problem is kind of like what you said. It's like it ended. Like they were done. The black guy got up. The white people walked away. The black co-captain started following them once his people got over there with him. Once his homeboys was there with him, he's like, all right.
He took his shirt off.
Yeah, like they was like, we're gonna go get these cats now. Not after, but it was the fight had stopped.
Right.
So I don't see why there's not a clear delineation between, all right, white people, you were wrong. You jumped this black dude. Then the next part of it, there could be a second part where it's like, okay, now black people, y'all are the aggressors. You skip walk, you skip walking. Right, you skip walking up to people, and you going up to their boat, and you just
with your shirt off.
Yeah, with your shirt off, and you banging on these cats, like, and they just standing there, and y'all attack them. So it could be two separate incidents. I think you're right from that perspective.
Yeah, I mean, and here, so that's, I guess, the moral look at it. I mean, but let's be realistic. It was just a jump off, and it was
emotions.
Off. Yeah.
Oh, pure emotion.
and
pure emotion. People were tired.
And understand, and people are tired, but let's look at just from the culture. We're tired. Every time we turn on the TV, we're the victim. Every time on the TV, we're the ones, pleading for justice.
Yep.
And so, just to be honest, just felt good to see we took justice in our own hands this time. I hate to say it, that's what it was.
That is what it is.
And I won't lie, because we a lot of people didn't go to jail. I don't really feel bad about that. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen too many people go to jail.
Right.
And they didn't do anything, or it was just trumped up charges. So yeah, it was wrong. I say that. You know what I'm saying?
Real wrong. But I just want them to bring their energy when it comes to voting and when it comes to, real law change. Like I feel like we bring energy in this like kumbaya moment, and I get it. Trust me, I fight it every day. But I want to fight it the right way. I want to fight it where it's long-term gain for my, as far as generations behind me come along and say, hey, I'm the lawyer now. I'm the judge now. I'm the one voting. I'm the one putting specific laws in place to help us. That's all I'm saying, And again, I am just the happy I don't like violence. I guess I would be the little Martin Luther King running around. Yeah. But, I believe in long-term. There was a short-term gain. Yes, social media hit, but what happens now?
Yeah, I'm
where we at?
I'm with you 100% on that, because I'm like, all right, so yeah, I'm not like I said at first when I saw it, I was like, hell yeah, get these motherfuckers, yada yada. But then as like I said, I got more context. I was like, man, this wasn't all it was, hyped up to be to me. And I don't think that we can utilize this like, hey, let these guys didn't get arrested, so that makes up for like when other people got arrested for stuff they shouldn't have been arrested.
Don't do
that. It's not a makeup thing, man. It's really just about, let's stand on your own merits. Were you right? Were you wrong? Could you have done something different? Like this, I don't agree with, but I'm gonna say, like, one of my homeboys was like, "Yo, the co-captain should never move them white people's boat."
Yeah, I don't say. I know who said that. I don't say no names.
Don't you say?
No, we're not gonna do
We ain't
that.
gonna
No.
do that. But I don't say no names. We know who said that.
I see his point. Like black dude. His point is like proximate cause. You don't move the boat, you don't get whooped. Nobody has a big brawl. You're probably right, but was he within the scope of his job
Which
to
we don't
move
know.
that boat so that his ship could go where it's supposed to dock, where it docks all the time? If that's within the scope of his job, move all the boats you want to, bro. Like I said, I don't know the answer to that. And secondly, I'm like, bro, that ain't a big deal to move somebody's boat a few feet. I'm like, you act like
and not damage it. Like he didn't damage it.
Yeah,
or
he
anything.
can do
and
like-
he ain't no random dude just walking up there.
Yeah, just
And they've
moving
been telling you to
stuff
move your damn boat
for
for
the last 45
minutes.
minutes.
And it's a whole bunch of big ass ships around you. You get the small little ship right there.
Yeah.
You in the way, fool. That's like you going
Yeah.
to the parking ride and just, I'm gonna park my car where all the buses go.
But here's the thing, too. Did he have options? Because
Mhm.
if you arguing with me for 45 minutes, then basically I know you ain't gonna move your boat.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
now
pretty
I'm coming
much.
over there with my own intentions to move this boat,
That's what I'm
knowing
there
you
for.
don't want me to move it. Did he have other options? Is there security there?
Police officers.
Could he have called the police? If you talking for 45 minutes,
I ain't talking
nobody
45
got a cell phone.
Yeah.
Nobody could have called the police and said, "Hey, we're a ship out here. They're parked where we dock. We need you to come move this ship." You probably would have got quicker response than 45 minutes if you would have just picked up your phone. So does that mean the co-captain was wrong? Nah. Did he have options?
Right.
Yeah, he did.
And I don't know, maybe that's his job.
Yeah, I don't know.
He is a
I don't-
security,
You said
you
we
know
don't
what
know
I'm
if
saying?
that's the scope of his,
Yeah,
position.
we
He
don't-
might have
we
been
don't
in his
know.
rights.
Yeah, so
But still, even if you security calls police.
yeah.
Security don't try to like take down every criminal. They be like, 911.
Yeah.
When something goes down. So he did have that option
Yeah, he did.
in his back pocket. He made a decision. So I see where our friend is going. Do I agree with him? Nah.
We don't agree with you.
At all.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh-uh.
Let me see. We got Stacy on here with a few other comments. I just want to see if she got anything in here.
What up, Stacy?
Hey, yes.
Yeah, she's talking about Trump on here.
No, she's talking about Lee Merritt, who is representing
Georgia. Yeah. Oh, there you go. You're right. I see that. Stacey said, when you get a civil rights attorney, Lee Merritt, who is representing Chair Guy, could mean we saw only clips and not all the video.
True.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. I
Because you
mean,
control the narrative.
yeah,
He's smart. He's going to control it, and you're going to see what the picture he wants you to see.
this is true. And like you said, there's a lot of video out there. And I mean, Lee Merritt, I don't know what I'm trying to think, like, what angle could he use to make this guy right? I just with the videos I've seen, I don't know where he goes.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't have Trump supporter vision though.
Because we are different. Because we
Yeah,
know
I don't put
wrong
on
is
the- I don't-
wrong,
I don't-
right?
Yeah,
like
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
he gonna make him seem right.
I don't put on them
What he-
Trump colored glasses, bro.
and to me, it wasn't even about her being a female. It's like you took a chair to somebody's head who was on the ground.
Yeah, she's like
Okay.
sitting there. She
That
don't know
it?
what's happening.
It
She
don't
done got her
matter.
ass for
Hey,
Okay, she got
I know.
beat down. She was
Yeah,
just
she-
sitting there like, now fuck it. And somebody just come along.
I'm not laughing.
hey, she wasn't in the fight no more, man.
She was out. She was out of it. She was just
She was
sitting
done.
there.
She
Her
was
hands
done,
were,
nigga.
look, her arms were down between her legs. Her legs
She was
spread
sitting
wide
there.
open. She just sitting there like a baby.
Take this
Yeah.
with your pal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, Chair Guy was wrong, bro.
I
I
don't
mean,
know how you
it's
gonna
funny,
defend
it's
that
funny
dude,
as hell,
man.
but it was wrong.
Yeah, there's nothing to say.
And the folding chair business is just out of
Oh
out of
yeah,
control
they probably
now,
got all
man.
kind of chairs. Seen all kind of memes.
Sure, I got folding chairs at home. Was like, you know what I'm saying? Just like that. You know what I'm saying? I got like 4 folding chairs. Like, I'm good. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Oh man, this is crazy.
Yeah, so nah, bro. I feel you, Lee Merritt,
Wrong is
but
wrong.
you know,
Okay.
hey, you need to plead out, bro. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
For real. Because I mean, there's even people out there saying the chair guy shouldn't be charged and
Yeah.
all type of stuff, man. They going crazy.
Let somebody hit you with a folding
Did you-
chair. That ain't no light thing, is it?
at all.
You have
Like,
to
I
put it in
know-
a different perspective. Like, say your child's at school and a kid mollywops your child with a
With a
folding
folding
chair.
chair.
You gonna be at the school. Am I correct?
Hell
You gonna be
yeah.
mad. Something's happening to that child.
Mhm.
So just if you got to do it, paint a different picture, put different people there, and really look at the, what's happening here. So
Exactly.
Or you know how in high school they be like, hey, meet me after school.
Yeah.
You show up, this nigga got a folding chair. That ain't no
You run,
fair fight,
run.
That
dog.
ain't fair.
Hey, yo,
Run.
dog, I ain't know bringing folding chairs, dog. That's what we doing. That's what we
Run.
doing. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Shit. Yo, at the end of the day, man, I will say this. I know everybody in this room is all about fairness. You know, we don't want to see like anybody like get away with something that they shouldn't get away with. That's not what we're saying, right? Like, but also at the same time, we don't want to charge people that shouldn't be charged. Like, if the law sees it that these black people were within their rights and they whooped that ass and they had the right to do it, so be it. I'm down with that. I just want to make sure that the playing field is level at all times, right?
Yeah, I don't think we had the internet and it was, I think it would have been twisted another way.
Yeah.
Like if the internet wasn't there, we wouldn't have seen that first fight.
Nah.
Nah, it's just been black people going crazy in
Right.
Alabama. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Exactly. And they're attacking the white people.
and
You
I
know
think
what
that's
I'm
the
saying?
only reason you're probably not because of the climate, you're not getting any charges.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because
been
they,
crazy.
they already know that people in Alabama pulling out folding chairs. They don't want to be charging people and have that going down. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
Stacy said all she needed was the Benny Hill music. And
Yeah.
she's still laughing. Like, get whacked on the head,
Uh-uh.
get whacked on the head with a chair at the same time.
I know that music
Hey.
very well.
Speaking of Benny Hill came out like at a different time in America. Like, I'm gonna make those connections. I'm gonna connect to the next story. And it was this time when racism was a little bit more, in
I
your
thought
face.
Thought you was going somewhere else with that.
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't going to the nastiness.
I was like,
It was a little.
niggas Benny Hill because he showed titties. That's
I'm
what
not going to the
Benny Hill for.
nastiness with Benny Hill. What I'm going at is, that era was like, hey, we were just shifted from the 60s to the 70s, like 80s, and it was like, a different time. And at those times, I mean, I don't even know if I ever saw like a black person on the Benny Hill show, to be truthful with you, even a black woman. And I know they wanted black women.
Yeah, don't ever.
But at the end of the
don't
day,
remember that either.
there was a lot of, more racism right in your face. And I think we're coming back to a time like that where it's becoming okay to be a racist for some.
It's very
strange
comfortable out there, right?
reason. Yeah,
now.
it's real comfortable.
Racism is a comfortable space now.
And the last incident that I saw that my queen put me up on was on in Bossier City, Louisiana, at a casino. There was a lady.
Yeah,
she looked like she might have been intoxicated or something. I
Acting
don't know.
reckless.
Yeah, acting crazy, kicking, screaming, punching, whatever. And there was her man, a white individual holding her back. There was a black guy filming the whole incident, and the N-word was thrown around by the gentleman, and they ended up getting arrested or whatever. But it's commonplace now. There might even be people out there that don't even know that this even happened. Like, it's so commonplace because now it's become a norm, a societal norm to be racist and be a Karen and act crazy. So my question for you guys is, are y'all like, what are your thoughts on this racism? Like, why are people so comfortable with this now?
Oh man, we got a lot of angles on that. Let me start like this. Let's start with the people that act like racism don't exist or it's not out available or anything like that. All right, and I like to go back in history. Civil Rights Act was passed in 1964. It's 2023. All right, so if we're overcoming, if things change, right? Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement got it passed in 64. Then they got the Voting Rights Act passed. Why we still got people in 2023 using the N-word and promoting racism? That's generational. That means you're raising your kids to have these thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The lady in the video doesn't look no older than 30. Let's say 40. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Civil Rights Act happened in 64. That's well over 50, 60 years. So somewhere in the 80s and 90s, she's practicing a racial doctrine.
Yeah.
She knows what the N word means. She knows the history behind that word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She knows her status and statute, and she's utilizing it to try to perceive that. That's only used when they want to knock you down as a person. They don't want to humanize you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with the N word. I mean, but then we got another saying with N word that we use. So it's all, it's what it is. But we know when they're saying it, what it's meant by.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How we comfortable with racism? It's raised at the home.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been taught. It hasn't been not taught. It's being taught now.
Yeah.
Still got the scientists talking crazy in Florida. You know what I'm saying? And we got people just still pushing that doctrine. Didn't help that Trump got elected and kind of gave him willy-nilly, and really I think that, and I'm not one going to say that Trump, racist or an advocate of racism. I mean, you can go down the record and say that. But what he said in Charlottesville, when he said, "Oh, they're good people too," from the highest office, from the bully pulpit, it just opened the door to, well, hey, I can wear my racism on my shoulder, and I can say what I want to say, and and do what I want to do. I got freedom of speech. When they start throwing around freedom of speech, that's basically what they're saying. I should be able to say and do what I want to. But that comes with consequences on all ends. You know what I'm saying? So it was bred in the home. It's still being bred in the home. It's people right now raising kids and saying, look, you're white and you're better than everybody. That's a white supremacy doctrine. Why? Because the country set it up that way for you. And that's what other races say, that this is built on a white supremacy helm. That you said that, hey, black people were slaves. That's what they tell them. Slaves, you're better than black people. Hispanics are thugs and thieves. And they'll even go in and talk about
Asians,
other ethnic white people, Italians, Polish. So that's where that comes from. And that's why people are still comfortable with it. And then we had a president came out and said some things to make it okay for them to come out and act the way they're acting.
Definitely agree. And again, I'm with you. I'm not going to say Trump is a racist. I'm just saying he has some experiences with racism that make it questionable.
He's a little race-ish.
There you go. He might have some ish to him. Well, like you said, just your upbringing, your cultural norms, your experiences. And I really do believe a lot of it is based on your experience. Some people are just ignorant. It's okay to be ignorant, but you got to learn. Like everything you see on TV is not the depiction of a black man or Hispanic man or an Asian man as well. So definitely the climate is where I'm not going to say it's okay, because we have a lot of people who do speak out against racism, but they definitely have been emboldened now, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, when you combine a racist white supremacy theory with Christianity and walk around and call it Christian nationalism, and we're Christian, and it's funny when you say that we're a Christian society, and they're basing that on we're white Anglo Christian Protestant, and basically you teach that not only at home, but in churches, in your own private schools. You preach that doctrine. You wonder why in 2023, when we had, probably probably the most famous civil rights leader die and get all these laws passed, we still ain't moved the needle past this. And people say, okay, we doing better, or that's cool, but why are we still having a protest for civil rights in 2023? You know what I'm saying? Didn't we handle this with Martin Luther King?
Right.
Wasn't this good? Then now we want to reverse everything. We want to take away affirmative action. This is crazy. People say, well, you know what? We wouldn't have to do it if there wasn't racism involved. You think we want to be
right?
We want affirmative action. We want, it's bad that we have to tell companies, look, you can't discriminate against people because of color. And you can't, and you have to hire people because they know these companies, they don't have to, they won't. That's in 2023.
Right.
They won't promote you. They won't do anything. If they can get away with it, they can make sure that white people are making more money than black people. They would do that. It's been proven. It's been said that ain't nothing unfair. That's what affirmative action is for. You know what I'm saying? We don't want that. And I always tell people when they say, well, racism, don't exist or whatever. I said, then why we got two different university setups? You got a
Mhm.
you got a historical black college, and you got regular universities.
Yeah.
There was a time that if you got a HBCU diploma, they didn't want to hire you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Saying, I'll be honest with you. When I was coming up for college, my mom was like, "Don't apply to those schools because you won't get a job." She comes at me. Now it's different, but
Yeah.
back then it wasn't.
Right.
Mhm.
This country's so racist. We have to set up separate universities.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I
and then
mean-
they're not equal either. You know what I'm saying? Well, they're a little more equal now, but
That
back in
all
the day, they
came
weren't.
from the need to become educated
Exactly.
because of the fact that white schools wouldn't let us in.
Exactly.
Right. But they still exist today, and for good reason, because they allow us to be in an environment where we can experience our culture
Yep.
and be with our people. So there ain't nothing wrong with that. So I don't care what nobody say. But one thing I will say is that we have to look at, like you said, the origin of racism in our country, and it all came from partially, right, categorization, the need to create categories of people. Like overseas, when America first came up, they had different categories, and they had royals, they had serfs,
It was
they had
class.
you had classism, right? You had different classes of people, and that's how you. Now, then it came here to America. We don't want a king. Well, how are we gonna separate our people? By race.
Yeah.
We gonna say white people can do
They
this.
took the class system
White
and,
people
and
can do
converted it
that.
over to race. Yeah.
Black people can't do this. Black people can't read. They can't learn. They can't own property. They can't own land. They can't vote. They can't, like, all of these things that
Just like
black
the
people
peasants
can't
in
do,
Europe.
but white
Yep.
people can. And so what that made happen is it made white
Poor.
people who were poor
Mhm.
feel like, I'm not those black people over there. I'm not them. I'm white because I can own land. Like, maybe not right now because I'm poor, but at one point, if I get enough money, I can own land. Guess what? I can go vote to change things. The black people can't. So that categorization of the different classes, or by race, not class, by race, allowed them to differentiate us. Now today, unfortunately, we're feeling the pain of that, because to your point about schools and affirmative action, we shouldn't even have affirmative action.
Exactly.
We should not have it, because there should not be race division. We should not have to put on a form, I'm black.
Yeah.
You shouldn't even know what I am.
Mhm.
You should look at my application.
Mhm.
My name shouldn't be on there.
I told you that,
Jamar
yeah.
Shabazz. Put a number. Let me get a number. You just look at these applications. You don't need a
Right.
picture of me, a video. As a matter of fact, if you submit a video or a picture of yourself, you out.
Yeah.
We just want this application with your code that we give to you, do QR code, whatever, no name. That code will tell you whether you admit it or not. And once that happens, then you can give us your name, your
Mhm.
social, all this identification, all this identifying information. Initially, when we're looking at your application, I should not know anything about you. And that would make affirmative action go away, because
Right.
that would create equity
Mhm.
in the process of selection. Right now, we don't have it. So their stupid solution is affirmative action. That's a dumb solution.
Mhm.
That's something that's always going to have scrutiny around it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Take all that stuff away and create something that's truly equitable, and there will be no race. Now, you can't do that with everything, but you
Mhm.
could do that with affirmative
You
action.
do quite a few. I mean, even if you think about jobs, like
You do the same thing there.
you do the same thing. I could put my initials. Like normally, if you hear a girl named Walanda, I'm sure
Right.
it goes in their
Take away
mind.
the male and the
Yeah.
female,
But take it
the
away.
race,
Like
all
just
that.
remove all the race, but they just move parts of it. And that's
Yeah.
what I don't
And I
understand.
think, to me, interviews, and this, I may be going off topic here. Interviews, everybody with sense in their head is going to
Well.
put their best foot forward in an interview. No, most people that have sense are not going to go in an interview and act stupid and try to blow the job. Okay.
Mhm.
So to me, interviews aren't really that effective. I'd rather know the information about you, what your experiences, your education, what you've done, all that I can get off your resume.
Right. I want to know what people say about you. I already told you my thing. I don't even care about
That too.
I want to know what people say about you, because that's how you find out about somebody. Because of course, like you said, everybody puts their best foot forward. But when you go asking other people, for reference check, they'll tell you. A lot of times they're a little bit too honest, So, anyways, off topic there. But
Yeah.
Yeah, Ace. What are you gonna say?
I
Well,
think
without the interview process, you can't handpick upper management. You know,
Mm.
that's what the issue
That's what
really
they do.
comes into.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The good old boy system.
Yeah.
They actually
Mhm.
got a business term for it, to where they said you can take two candidates and be different races. And there's a term where, you know, it's probably not now, but back in the day, which everything is like, they would hire people white because they figured has a family, and I want to make sure his family's good, and I'm gonna make sure he gets promoted because of his family. They looked out for the race
Mhm.
like that. The power race did that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So if you can have a candidate that not only is equal but better, they pay him less. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they will take care. And we all probably got our stories on that
Mhm.
working. So you're right. Affirmative action probably wasn't the smartest way, but it was probably out of desperation. We had to do something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Because they're not ready to, because
They're not ready to talk about it either.
they don't want to tackle the bigger issue,
Mhm.
right?
exactly.
The affirmative action is, we talk about symptoms, right? And we talk about an illness. Affirmative action is a symptom of the illness of racism.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And so they're like, we're gonna treat the symptom. We're gonna get some tissue, wipe our nose, and we're gonna take care of that. But we still really got a fever, and we still got a cold. We need
Mhm.
some medicine to take care of that racism. But we're gonna take care of this affirmative action symptom. They attack symptoms, and that's what they do. They never really go at the root cause of anything.
Mhm.
And like I said, if they were to create a holistic system of equity, remove race
No, they
from
don't want that.
Right.
everything,
No.
to remove that from all your demographics, from all your
Mhm.
polls, from all your studies, take away the categorization,
Right.
right? And then I think when we talk about, is it okay to be a racist? I think that it would help to remove it from people's mind. Is it gonna erase racism? Nah, but it'll make it harder for you to be one. I
Mhm.
think.
So would you just do it on citizenship, like just saying we're an American, you're a human being, I guess, versus anything? Probably, I guess you know what I mean, like categorization. If they're gonna categorize you some kind of way, like
So
just
this
are
would
we looking
take
at just
regulation to do,
you know,
like to say that you can't put, say ethnicity
T and
and race
anything? Okay.
on like forms and things like that. It
Right.
would take some type of regulation to implement something like that.
Mhm.
But I think that that's where it would start, like with businesses,
Mhm.
federal, state, things like that, where they make it where you can't put those things on things, and it becomes a norm.
A norm for
Like
us.
for
Mhm.
people to not put that on things, their job applications and stuff
Right.
like that, your school like information and stuff like you just take that away from everything, because once you take away those categories, it helps to diminish the differentiation of race.
Exactly. And what about, do y'all think about, because when you think of racism, people always think black, white, or
You can't take away
black,
what people
Hispanic,
see.
but can black people be racist against white people?
Yes.
Yeah.
I said, so when people think about racism, I think they always focus on,
I
black
mean-
people being racist against white, but
Well, I think prejudice. I don't
prejudice.
think
So you
racism.
think black people are prejudiced against
Racism comes with
other
power.
people, right? And
A lot of
black people don't have the power.
A lot
to
of
be.
black people don't have the power. Not saying they
Mhm.
some do, but Clarence Thomas does, but he's
Right.
racist against black people, so,
So-
ain't got to worry about that. But other than Clarence Thomas,
Mhm.
like most black people don't have the power to be racist or be put in a position to be racist or to just hire their own people.
Right.
And if they do that, they get caught out on it real
Mhm.
quick.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, it's a stigma, and a lot of times I think black people go harder on other black people in the workforce for that stigma. You know what I'm saying?
Raise his hand
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
sometimes.
But are black people
But you
prejudiced?
just-
Hell yeah. I know a whole
Right.
bunch of, I live with a whole bunch of damn prejudiced black people. And I always gotta say, man, that's a prejudiced shit you're saying right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's a realism in life.
Mhm.
Something negative happens. First thing you do, you look at their race and you say something negative. But racism comes in when there's a power behind it and you can actually hold the people down because of it.
Mhm.
And I know other races hate to hear black people say that, but why we go black and white? Because black people on the front lines.
Mhm.
Everything black people fought for, other races got the back door in and come in on. You
Right.
know what I'm
On
saying?
black backs.
On black backs.
Because
We're
we'll
on the
fight.
front, we're on the
Right.
front line.
We'll fight
You know
and
what I'm
say
saying?
stuff. They're like, why did this happen? Well, because we speak up. for
Civil
you.
rights
Right.
movement. I ain't see a whole bunch of Arabs and Asians out there marching. Well, that was some, but
Right.
they wanted the forefront at it.
Mhm.
But guess what? When all of those Civil Rights Act and Voting Rights
Helps
Act and all
everybody.
that came out, then
Mhm.
they started flooding the country and getting a lot of jobs and doing some things like that. Then they turn around and they're prejudiced against us.
Mm-hmm.
You know You know what I'm saying? So
Crazy.
it's that's why you hear the black and white all the time,
But-
because we got to have that fight first, because we were here before the country started.
Right.
You know, it was always been an issue. They fought a whole civil war on black and white relations. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
But even with
that's
like,
where it is.
but even with like black people being racist or prejudiced,
Yeah.
Black people, unfortunately, we feel like other black people owe us something just because we both black.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, I mean, there's prejudice, but there's also like, I don't even know how to categorize it right now, but I know that there's people like will look at me and think because I'm black and I work somewhere that I'm supposed to be able to get them a
Supposed to hook
job.
'em up. It's the
I'm
hookup
supposed
syndrome.
to do something for them or whatever because I'm black. You know what I'm
Speak
saying?
it.
Like,
The
Preach.
hookup syndrome.
I know like people will want to go to like a certain school because they black and the principal's black. Oh, what that
Yeah,
mean? Your
what that
kid,
mean?
your kid ain't gonna get no favoritism because the principal's black. It's like when
Be
we
like,
all. It's like when
yeah.
Barack Obama was president.
Right. We're not.
All black people thought we was gonna get reparations and we was gonna like just not all black people, a lot of black
He
people.
don't run that department right there.
Nah, that was like, because we got a black president, he gonna change like the whole way that the United States runs and put us in charge or something. And I was
Didn't happen.
like, bro, that ain't gonna happen. He's the president of
The
all
all
Americans.
people.
He's
Yeah.
not the president of Black America.
And that's what we want, right? Don't we want all people to be included, not just a segment?
I don't
of
think
certain
everybody
people?
wants that.
You
I
know,
think some people
that's
just
my
want the come
mindset. I
up.
was like, why would somebody think that way? But obviously, people do think that way.
Well, I mean, there's a argument because America hasn't never took care of the black problem or helped black people like to the point where they gave other people reparations for their wrongdoings. They never admitted to that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And they went out of the way not to do that. That's where that problem comes. Now, you're right. You know, black people do think when they see black people, they need to get hooked up.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I had a dude when I was a manager of a furniture store. He was still in a VCR. And some of my compadres caught him at the door, and I was actually the manager. They caught him at the door. He's running out. He said, "Brother, man, can you help me out?" And I'm like, "Now your ass is going to jail. You try to steal VCR. I can't hook you up, dog."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Help y'all how? Like
Like
your
what?
teeth.
Black people have that stigma to think that you know,
We
you see a
help each
black
other.
person, they're gonna hook you up, or it's gonna be better or whatever. No, first and foremost, we got to stand as a people, you know, on our own merits. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you know, that's a whole nother show. Start talking about that, but you definitely can't be running around just trying to get hooked up because you see black people there.
Exactly.
Exactly. So. All right. Well, I mean, to me, I just feel like, this whole thing, I just think that there's a lot of people out there right now running amok, just thinking that they can just touch black people, talk about black people, and just do whatever they want. And for some reason, and this is the part that really trips me out, even when they're being videotaped, they continue to act the same way. Like,
They don't fear the justice system.
they don't fear like the video of them. Do they not? Like, anybody can put, everyone in this room can go to YouTube right now and upload a video of whatever they see. Everyone, the power of social media, Facebook, like Twitter, whatever you want to say. It's like they just see red like a bull, and they just like, they can't stop. Like, let me tell you something. If I'm doing something wrong and I see somebody videotaping me, I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna keep doing whatever I was doing wrong
I can
when
tell
I
you
know
why.
somebody else is videotaping me. I don't understand.
No, I can tell you why. Because you know, one,
I know I'm gonna get in trouble.
An accusation gonna get you in trouble. They can come up and say, "Hey, he hit me," and you are automatically
without
guilty
video.
before innocent.
Yeah.
They ain't even seen the video. You sitting in jail so they can figure that out. White people, and it could be whatever. White people, because of Rodney King, they seen Rodney King get mollywopped. We saw that beat down, and they've seen other videos, but definitely seen. We saw Rodney King. Seen him get beat down, and seen everybody get off on that. Even in the George Floyd thing, we saw that man put his knee on his neck and choke that boy to death. Saw that, looked at it, saw the whole thing. I can't breathe, and the whole 9 yards. And he still had a trial in 2 years. He was out, and they know there's a divide when it comes to that. And even if they're videotaped, they still got a chance to maybe beat us in court.
Right.
I will also say, to add to what you just said, because I agree with that, it could also be an accumulation of like how many times have they done it before
Exactly.
and got away with it, regardless of whether it was videotaped or not. Maybe she's done that 50 other times and called somebody the N-word and walked away unscathed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even they do get convicted. It's like the lady that shot the young man. I can't remember the name. I apologize. But I don't know if they had stopped him or a traffic stop and she thought she was shooting a taser and she shot him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the
You know what I'm
lady.
saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how many years did she get? Or have you even heard about that since or whatever? See what I'm saying?
I don't
She
know.
went to
remember.
jail.
I think she went to jail, right?
Court
Right.
cases take years sometimes to get to court.
Yeah, she
though.
went to
That's-
jail, but I remember. I think I remember her sister. You know, ain't like she got a life sentence or
Right.
death
We took a
penalty or
life.
nothing like that. You
But
know
it's
what I'm
almost
saying?
like we're just not seen as, you know what I mean? Like our lives are not as important.
That's why Black Lives Matter
you
is
know,
a hashtag.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Because we're talking about like, even if, you know, going back to George Floyd when he said that, I know people were like, well, he's not a martyr. And why do we have paintings of him? And he did this and he hit somebody. So you don't get to take a life. Like his
Right.
life still matters.
Because he had a fake
Guys,
$20 bill.
Right. You know what I mean? And I'm not excusing any of his indiscretions, but what I'm saying, so he don't get to live. That's basically what they're saying. Like our lives are just not as important, and don't do anything wrong, because Lord, then your life really ain't important, you know. But they don't look at that as everybody else. You got bad kids. I always tell them, use this terminology and just take the adult and put a child there. Would that have been okay? Would that have ever been okay?
Well, I mean, they've killed children too.
Oh yeah.
And
Hey, you know who's killed the most? Not being funny, this is factual, and you can actually is white women have killed more black children. Like back in the day, your slaves, the children they were property, and so you could do whatever you wish to property. And so when I read that, and I was crying in tears, but I was like, wow, like as a mother, you know what I mean? Because a lot of them are mothers, but you would just kill because their life didn't matter to you. You saw them, or the perception of them as their property versus a human being. Scary and sad.
Yep. So yeah, that's little historical content on the value of, you know, the human life. But yeah, that's why it hasn't stopped. Is that people want to say that people haven't stopped talking about racism in their home. Now, I'm not saying everybody is, but it's some people that still talk racism from their home. It's not going to go anywhere. Their grandfather talked about it, and their grandfather talked about it, and yada yada yada. And that's the way they're raising their children. And that's why in this year, 2023, we now have people that are in casinos yelling out racial slurs at people with cameras and not caring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, they see what happens now. Well, that's what I'm happy about.
No
is
pun
that
intended,
now?
not caring.
Yeah, but now they have consequences. Because I think back in the day there wasn't any consequences, and that's what he reached out to casinos. Like, I really appreciate you, you know, standing up for me. Because a lot of times it's like, oh, it's okay. She's belligerent. She's drunk, so it's okay. It's okay. She called me the N-word because she's drunk. That's not the first thing that comes to mind when if you're inebriated, the first thing you do is use a negative or racial slur. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
That's the comfort level.
You know, wow, I'm out there dancing on the dance floor. That's not what I think about using, you know, terminology.
That's your drunk move right there? That was it?
That was it.
Oh man. Hey, but once again, man, this has been another great conversation, Left Wing Kings. I just want to go ahead and thank everybody out there on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Facebook, all of that. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for all of the people joining us on the live streams today. I want to thank my man Ace. Got anything to say on closing, sir?
Yeah, make sure during the week you join the conversation, man. We're not only here at 11 a.m., but throughout the week, man, you can hit up YouTube, Facebook, all of those, and make comments and share, man, so we can keep this thing moving.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that. Great addition there. Appreciate you, man. My queen, Walanda, in the building.
Hey, they're just saying, you know, what we learn. Once we learn, we do better and we be better. So get out there and do the thing.
Ain't that the truth? And I also want to thank our girl, our other queen in the background, Tina, for always holding everything down, making sure that I got my timing correct and get on with the get on. So, all right. So, thank you guys for joining us for another episode. We will see you next week when we bring our special guest, Carrie K. Zagan Randolph.
Big show next week.
All right. See you then.
Oh, he gonna have people mad at him. Yeah, definitely.
That's all we got to edit button.
Sorry, babe. Have you heard him? What he's saying? His little